Hello everyone, welcome to the guided notes section for Unit 3, where we are starting to talk about functions. The first section is 1, and we will talk about the coordinate plane. So you'll be able to graph a point on the coordinate plane, identify points on a graph, and classify points based on the quadrant that they're in. Alright, so the coordinate plane is also known as the Cartesian plane. It's a graph using two variables, using x and y. The x's are on the horizontal, and the y's are on the vertical. An ordered pair, so a location on this graph, anywhere on this graph, point A we'll call it, is labeled by first stating how far left or right we go, the x coordinate, and then stating how far up or down we go, the y coordinate. All right, so let's look at some examples here. We'll label these ordered pairs. So if I were to graph plot the point -3, 4, I would be going left 3 units and then up 4 units on the y-axis. And this would be the point -3, 4. Point B, that would be point A. Point B is the point 2, 2. So I go to the right 2 and up 2. I'd like you to continue plotting these points, and when you're finished, just look at the screen and see if in fact you have the same coordinates that I do. So here you can see I've plotted all the points A, B, C, D, E, and F. And for every point, I've gone left or right, and depending on the direction depends on the sign that you're given, or up or down. First going left or right, that's the x coordinate in every case, and then going up or down, and that's the y coordinate. Okay, so each quadrant, each of the 4 spaces in this graph, is labeled with a Roman numeral. Quadrant 1 starts here in the upper right. This is where both the x and the y values are positive. I'm going to the right, and I'm going up. In quadrant 2, working counterclockwise, quadrant 2 is where the x values are negative, so I'm first going left, and then I'm going up. Quadrant 3 is down here in the lower left, and it's where I'm going both left and then down to find to locate that point. And then in quadrant 4, down here in the lower right, this is where I am going to the right and then down x and then y. What I'd like you to do is, beside each ordered pair, label the quadrant in which it belongs. All right, so the point -1, 2, that's in quadrant 2. -3 down 3, that's down here in quadrant 3. Over 1 up 4, that's in quadrant 1. Negative, that's in quadrant 3. So it gets to the point that it doesn't even really matter what the numbers are. I'm looking at the signs. Plus, minus, that means to the right and down, that's quadrant 4. 0, 2, oh, tricky. Over 0 and up 2, that's just going to be on the y-axis. The point -1, 0, going to the left 1 but up 0, that's going to be on the x-axis. Any x value that's greater than 0, so positive, so anything to the right, but any y value that's negative, so anything to the right and down, that's going to be in quadrant 4. And then anything that is less than 0, so anything negative, that's to the left, and any y value is less than 0, that's down. So anything left and down is going to be in quadrant 3. Uh-oh, I think my pencil might have died. In quadrant 3. Okay, so I have a couple of questions to close here. Oh, my pencil didn't die, it just didn't want to work right there. Okay, so I have a couple of closing questions for you. What is the difference between the x-axis and the y-axis? I'd like you to be able to verbalize but also write down the answer to these questions. How do you graph the point -6, 2, as if you were talking to a second grader and trying to describe to them how to locate that point? And what is another name for the coordinate plane? So be able to answer those questions, answer them now in your notes or in your head, but be able to verbalize and write down the answer to those questions. And lastly, your homework assignment is homework 3.1 worksheet, which is in the packet that you've received, and also to continue to work on your the equations and inequalities packet that flipbook that I have given you. That is due on Wednesday. So you have a couple of days to complete that. That's due on Wednesday, December. Let's see. I believe that it's December 6th. Wednesday, December 6th. Okay, I will see you in the next lesson.